Hey, welcome to the Overcoming Addiction channel. On this episode, I'm going to try to use three elements to explain some of the dangers of opioid abuse. The first one is a quick video that I crudely recorded, so we're going to watch that. It came from off of YouTube. And the second element is going to be an article that I wrote describing uh, my opinions on how opioids affect us. And the third is going to be some clinical documents, or not much documents, but just some stats that I'm going to share. That's going to be at the end of the video. But first, I'm going to show you this short video, and then I'll come back and we'll get into the rest of the program.
When it comes to mixing drugs, you may think you have a safe approach, but the truth is, your body can react differently every time, even if you've done them before. Whether you're mixing uppers, downers, or both, using multiple drugs can put extra stress on your heart, making it easier to overdose or stop your breathing. It can even be fatal. Drugs take over 250 lives every day. Know the dangers. Be aware. Learn more about the risks of mixing drugs. Visit cdc.gov/stop-overdose.
So, as I said, I'm going to explain some of the effects that opioids have on us, abusers. And these are going to be based on my experience with opioid abuse. And there are many studies on YouTube that detail the clinical cons of opioid abuse. Now, most people are aware of the pros of opioids because they do help with pain when they're prescribed correctly. But in the world of addiction, these videos may contain too much technical language for a substance abuser to understand, which in my personal experience may lead to a sense of not wanting to take the time to digest what is actually being shared. So hopefully I can help make help give an understanding to someone that may be watching or want to get information from the internet. And I want to try to make it a little bit simpler, and hopefully they'll understand a little bit better about the effects of opioids that it has on the body. The first thing we're going to talk about is withdrawal. And I'm going to read this article I said from my next uh, chapter in the book. Every addict is familiar with the pains of withdrawal, but not many know why they occur, other than it being because they were without their drug of choice for a period of time. So why do withdrawals actually happen? What causes them? A person using heroin or any opioid will suffer very painful withdrawals, especially if they are heavy users. Opioids dull the body's sense of pain with the internal senses or organs affected the most. This can cause organs in the body to not register pain so that the brain recognizes when and if there is a malfunction or a problem. Like if you have a kidney infection and the pain from a kidney infection would not register to the brain because the opioids are suppressing the pain. Feeling pain in our bodies is how we know there's a problem to be addressed. To give an example, a good friend of mine, she passed away because, and this is a friend of mine that we hung out a lot. She was a nice young lady. And it was odd because I saw her the day before and she was happily dancing around on the street. I did ask her why you don't have a jacket on because it may have been about 45 degrees outside. But I knew why. I mean, the effects of opioids does that to the body. But the next day I discovered that she had passed away, and later on I found out that it was because she had um, her bowel tract had become infected, and she didn't realize because the pain that would have indicated that there was a problem, she didn't feel because it was being covered up by the opioid abuse. So the infected areas in her body spread and they gave off toxins, which, because of the next section, I'm going to get into this, but because the bowels were not flowing through her body properly due to the opioid use, the toxins build up and poisoned her. She was unaware of this until she wound up in the hospital and passed away. So once the opioids in our system become elevated and then reduced, our pain receptors will become normal at first and then become oversensitive. It will be like they were dead and then came roaring back to life. Now, this is due to the body's tolerance to pain being diminished due to excessively high levels of opioids in the body. And once those high levels reduce, the pain receptors return. And like I said, sometimes they become hypersensitive or oversensitive. So that's why the pains from the withdrawals are so severe a lot of times, especially as us people who suffer from that problem know in the stomach area, in the gut area. And that leads me to the next section of constipation, which is another byproduct of opioid use. Constipation is, as I said, it's a primary symptom of opioid use, but the pain from withdrawals are due to the once the opioid is out of your system, the constipation, you can feel the pain of the constipation, and there are some very painful pains. Opioids alter the function of the digestive system, which is responsible for our physical and mental health. The body's immune system is connected to the digestive system. Having a healthy immune system helps fight off viruses. A lot of the health of our body comes from our gut, our stomach, our gut, our digestive system, our bowel tract, our liver, our kidney. Those are some of the vital things that maintain our health in our body. Of course, we know the immune system helps fight off viruses. Many of the things we eat and drink have chemicals in them that, if not properly removed, will become toxic and will become dangerous to our bodies, especially if they stay in there too long. They become poisons. Poisonous toxins can also reach our brains through the blood or in the form of gases, which would affect mental health. and they cause things like depression among other mental issues. That's what we're going to talk about in another video. No chemical, no foreign chemical can stay in the body for long periods of time without causing some level of discomfort or side effect, particularly opioids. Now, how else does it affect our body? Well, it affects our respiratory control. Opioids slow the heart rate, therefore reducing breathing, which leads to blackouts or death due to lack of oxygen in the body. Because even if it doesn't kill your body due to lack of oxygen or blood flow, it can cause brain damage because when your heart rate slows down, your respiratory slows down, blood is not pumping oxygen to the brain. The greater the amount of opioids in your body, the lower the breathing and heart rate become. Once they stop, there's little time left before death occurs, particularly now because when I used heroin, there, there wasn't this fentanyl as it is now. It had just started to come on the scene, and there was no trank, and xylazine. So these are lethal drugs. It doesn't take the amount of heroin, pure heroin, that it would take to cause someone to die as it does the trank, fentanyl, and xylazine. It may take a large quantity of heroin or very powerful dosage for that to cause someone to be asphyxiated or become critically ill or even die. But it only takes a very, very small amount of these other synthetic opioids to instantly kill someone. Well, I've only just given highlights of the clinical effects, and they're based on my experiences and the little research that I have done. There's tons of information on the clinical aspects of opioid abuse posted online. I hope that someone seeing or reading this will take the time to do some research on their own. The information you receive and share may save yours or someone else's life. Now, I have some numbers or some figures I want to share from the book Drugs and Society. It's kind of old. I think they released this book in 2007 because the stats I have here are from 2005 to 2006. And the figures I want to share are the ethnic backgrounds that are affected the most by opioid abuse and opioid death. And you'd probably be surprised to find out that overall, almost 14% of Native American or Alaskan natives are the ones that are the most affected by opioid abuse and opioid death, followed by Black or African Americans. Now, they're at almost 10%. The next highest, or I guess they would be the next highest, is white America, followed by Latino. White America is at 8.5%. Latinos at say about 7.5%. It is surprising to me that back then they have these figures. I would really like to know what these numbers would be today. Uh, Last count in 2000, I think it was 2021, there were over 107,000 deaths attributed to opioid abuse. So I just want to give out those figures, and as I say, I encourage someone to, if anyone that would like to, or that has someone with a problem, or have a problem, or know someone with a problem, or know someone that knows someone with an abuse problem, uh, try to encourage them to go online and find help. This is what I do. You inform yourself. It's like arming yourself to do battle. And of course, I encourage anyone to go get treatment. Treatment helped me, and it's been 12 years. And not only have I survived, I thrive. So tune in next time for the next video, and let's be on the lookout for another episode of Overcoming Addiction.
You can find references to this and other videos on Sandy's Facebook and Instagram social media pages. You can also leave comments in the comment section of this and his other videos or on Sandy's social media site. If you like, you can call 773-701-6425 and leave a comment or make suggestions. Thanks for tuning in. Please subscribe and share.